I'm going to win the Premier League, but I can only sign free agents. I'll be lurking outside the job centre at the end of each season to hand out contracts to all the rejects. I've taken over Newcastle United to utilise their bottomless pits of money for player wages. However, the free agent pool for season 1 is rough. I've signed the best ones available, but this team is nowhere near good enough to survive the Premier League, let alone win it. Our front three of Insigne, Ziyech and Antonio were supposed to be washed, but instead, they were cooking. Unfortunately, no one else was in the kitchen with them. We still lost 5 of our first 10 games of the season. However, a 3-2 win against Liverpool, where all 3 got on the score sheet, started to change our fortunes. It inspired others like Paco Alcacer, let go from Sharjah, and Samuel Umtiti, who left Lille, to score winners against Brighton and Man City. All of a sudden, our team of plucky rejects found themselves 9th on New Year's Day, way above my expectations. But soon, I'll be the one doing the rejecting. It's January 1st and I can start to offer contracts to players on expiring deals in other countries. So I can start to negotiate with players like Leon Goretzka and Eric Garcia to start planning for next season. Michail Antonio was doing his best to survive the cull. He finished the season with 12 Premier League goals, the most in the entire squad. Sergio Reguilon topped the assist charts with 7, so he might be safe as well. We do need to improve this team because we lost and drew far too many games, which obviously means we were miles away from winning the Premier League title. But 10th place isn't bad going for a squad of players who haven't signed for anyone in real life yet. Next season, we're going to be so much stronger. With Craig Dawson retiring, we needed a rock at the back. I think Antonio Rudiger is a pretty decent upgrade. In fact, all 6 of our signings are big upgrades on what we already had. So obviously, all 6 go straight into the starting lineup, as we continue to use Reguilon to bomb forward, with Tomiyasu coming across to form a back 3. New striker Jonas Wind was a revelation. He was scoring goals on a much more consistent basis, getting the winners against Liverpool and Fulham, and earning us a point against Leicester. With a stronger spine, we were getting better results and making a push for European football, and also pushing that subscribe button. The midfield trio of Goretzka, Garner and Weston McKennie were finding the back of the net as well, and thanks to Rudiger and Garcia at the back, we were keeping way more clean sheets. That was until December rolled around and we collapsed. We collected just 5 points from a possible 18, ruining all of our momentum. As a result, on January 1st, we're 10th in the table and look destined for another season of mediocrity, especially as our attack never got going again. In the 19 games we played in the new year, Jonas Wind only scored 3 more times, we failed to score in 8 matches, and we only won 6. Thankfully, the defence played their part, keeping 7 clean sheets, so we scraped some draws, but let's not pretend that's progress. We did end up with 3 more points than last season, but we've dropped to 12th, and we're further away from a title than we were before. All of these new, better players, and we are still at square one. Things only got worse over summer. Forster, Pjanic, Insigne and Eriksen officially retired at the club, whilst Antonio, Ziyech and Patricio left the club a few weeks before their retirement date. Almost half our original squad have been wiped out in one summer. Luckily, the free agent pool was stacked this year, and 9 new signings made us way better. With Coulson and Coman on the wings, this team looks a lot more dangerous going forwards. The front 3 did take time to gel, as we had a tough opening 3 games, losing to Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City. After that baptism of fire, Coman and Coulson started scoring, and the wins followed. Wind and Tony were rotating in that striker role, keeping them both fresh and on their toes. They both scored good numbers of goals, so the wins kept coming. The new look attack was working as intended, and by January, we're 6th in the table, just 6 points off the top spot with a game in hand. We're only 2.5 seasons in, but we could genuinely do this right now, which is why I'm looking forward to the massive changes coming to FM26, so it feels like we've got something new. You can pre-order FM26 through my affiliate link in the description with Fanatical. Use code TomFM at checkout to bring the price down to £38.94. Once you've paid, head to Order History and Keys to reveal your game key. Copy that and open up Steam, click Games in the top of the screen, activate the products, and voila, FM26 is now in your Steam library. Buying it through Fanatical is the cheapest way to get FM26, and if you do that, I also get a little bit of commission, so it's a great way to support the channel. Kingsley Coman exploded in the second half of the season, becoming our top goal scorer and clutch man. He scored late winners against Chelsea, West Ham and Brentford that saw us creep up the table. But to win the title, we need to be perfect, and we weren't. We suffered stupid defeats to Leeds and Brighton, both in the bottom half of the table. And despite how good we've been all season, we still can't match Man City or Everton, the league's top two sides. But a 4th place finish is a massive leap. We've gone from unemployed cast-offs to Champions League contenders in just 3 seasons. We're on the right track, we just need a little bit more depth in this team of rejects. Frustratingly, we've lost Rudiger to Bayern Munich after he rejected our contract offer. But in his place, we've picked up Mohamed Simakan, who's just left Al Nassr to replace him. In fact, with Marcos Leonardo and Roger Fernandez also joining, that makes 8 players we've poached from Saudi clubs. It's a good job that in Football Manager, players prefer playing for a high reputation club than trying to get as much money as possible. We've also stolen Savio from Man City after they didn't give him a new contract, which means we now have a good few young players in the team. 6 of our 25-man squad are now under 25 years old, so we have some players we can build around for the long term. The youngsters started the season strong. Marcos Leonardo helped us beat Spurs 2-0, Roger Fernandez scored the first in a 4-1 win against Brighton, whereas Savio scored the game's only goal as we beat Bournemouth. After finishing 6 points off the top last season, I really felt like we could do it this time around, especially after such a promising start to the season. But our players started to get distracted. This season, we're of course in the Champions League and we're doing okay. We won 4, drew 2 and lost 2, which isn't anything special, but we still qualify for the knockouts in 4th place. But this isn't about Europe. Because our players were distracted by the bright lights of Milan and Paris, losses and draws started to creep into our Premier League results, the competition that we need to win. Before we knew it, we were 15 points behind the league leaders in January. There's no way we can turn that around in the second half of the season. I wouldn't have minded if we actually did well in the Champions League, but Galatasaray knocked us out in the playoff knockout round, putting an end to that. The damage had already been done though. We just never seemed to recover. We lost to Southampton and Brighton in January, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace in February, teams that we need to be beating if we want to win the title. So in the end, we finished 30 points away from the top spot. We've gone from 6 points behind to 30. That's insane. This summer, we had bids come in for some of the older members of the squad, so I sold them so we'd have more money in the wage budget. This gave us enough budget to bring in 7 genuine difference makers. Hickey, Bozdogan and Unahi come into the first team as we change our tactic. We're now playing with double fullbacks and double inside forwards to get further forward. They had an instant impact. Hickey and Bozdogan scored in our 2-1 opening day win against Chelsea, before Bozdogan scored the winner in our next match against Arsenal. Andreas Christiansen, another summer addition, got the winner against Man City, whereas Unahi scored past Leeds in a 2-0 win. This season, we were flying, as we won 15 from 21 games, which is an incredible run of form, but it's not enough. We're only 3rd in January. Luckily, we are only a point away from the top spot, and this is the closest we've ever been. We can't let this opportunity slip. In January, we beat league leaders Man City again. Surely now this has to be our year. But despite having more shots, we didn't have it in us to beat Liverpool. Not to worry though, because we thrashed Brighton and Leeds to keep our assault on the top spot going. That was until we came up against 18th place Bournemouth. They humiliated us, scoring 2 goals and saving Ivan Toney's penalty, beating us 2-0. We were so shell-shocked that we drew 0-0 with bottom of the table Blackburn and then lost to a 90th minute Brentford goal. With 5 games to go, we're 6 points behind Liverpool, so we're going to need a miracle. But a 1-1 draw away at West Ham and a 2-1 loss away at Everton was the exact opposite. Even a 6-1 win against Aston Villa wasn't going to resurrect our dead title hopes. With 2 games left, we're 8 points behind. It's over. We failed again. I've lost all hope at this point. This summer, the free agent market wasn't very good, so we only signed 4 players and 2 of them are strikers. However, they might be the missing pieces we've needed. Balogun scored a brace against Arsenal on the opening day and helped us beat Sunderland the game after. Then, after he failed to score in the next 2 games, we switched to Eli Wahi, and he grabbed a brace against Burnley and scored past Aston Villa. With the strikers in form, we won 8 of our first 10 and hit the top of the table briefly. In December, we lost 1-0 away at Chelsea, before then beating Man United 3-1 at home. But then we travelled to the northwest and lost 2-1 away at Everton, only to then beat Spurs 2-1 at home. And that's what we did throughout all of December. We won our 3 home games and lost our 4 away games, and that dragged us down the table. After 18 games, we're only in 5th place, but I know this team can claw back that 6-point deficit to the top. On New Year's Day, we fought a battle with Liverpool, but Balogun's 60th minute effort saw us win 3-2. Then at the end of January, Balogun scored a second brace against his former team Arsenal, only for all of that hard work to come undone as we lost to Sunderland, Leicester, and we drew 0-0 with Southampton. We can't bottle this again. Surely not again. After a series of team meetings and praising players' conduct to raise morale, we finally picked up 1-0 wins against Crystal Palace and Aston Villa to get back on track. Balogun in particular really found form. He then scored hat-tricks against Brentford and got the winners against Brighton and Nottingham Forest. Now we were flying. Nothing and no one could stop us. We breezed past title rivals Chelsea and Man United, and with 5 games to go, our destiny is in our hands. We're top of the table with only Man City realistically being able to take it away from us. We have a slightly easier run of games, but the deciding factor could be when we play them. But of course, we start our final run by losing 1-0 to Spurs. Luckily, our collection of strikers made amends against Wolves as we won 3-0, but Man City won both of their games and jumped back ahead of us. So beating Man City now becomes crucial. What makes this more difficult is the fact we are away from home. Man City have got the home support and Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland combining nicely there to get the ball into the middle, and somehow they've not scored. City is still looking dangerous from the corner though to the far post, and Erbig makes a massive save. I'd rather we score right now on the stroke of half-time as Salvio's done it. He's proving to Man City they were wrong to let him go as a free agent, and at arguably the most perfect point in the game right before half-time, he's given us the all-important lead. Maybe we should have been playing him on the right and not the left the entire time. Man City with a corner 38 seconds into the second. Right, well, that was not fun. We need to win here ideally, but a draw's not the end of the world. But if we lose, that would be the end of the road, and Erbig again making a huge save. And maybe, with the Brazilian leading the line, we can do something special. The ball over the top not quite working, but Tomiyasu with a chance to put the ball into the middle. Marcos Leonardo was there, but Donnarumma makes a crucial save. This could be the moment. Savio, square it. Finally! Oh my word, when that hit the crossbar, I was... Wait, is this going to VAR? No, ref, come on. Let's be reasonable here. I don't think he was offside. And he wasn't! Come on! Huge! And now we have a big moment. We've got a midweek game against Leeds, but if we win and Man City lose at Spurs, the title's ours. Now, on paper, we should be winning this. This is not a good Leeds United side. We are at home as well, and as you can see from the table, they are in the relegation zone. So obviously that means they're going to beat us. The earlier we score in this game, the earlier we assert our dominance, the better, and we might be able to do that right now as James Garner finds the ball through to YE. Oh, you love to see it. The Frenchman's done it, giving us this early lead. Aaron Hickey finds Marcos Leonardo again, back into the middle. Balogun makes it 2. I mean, if we win this game 10-0, we might get the goal difference we need. But all eyes are now on this Tottenham-Man City game. I wish we had some match stats for it to see if Tottenham were dominating the game or not. To be honest, our match stats are pretty incredible because Leeds have actually had more shots than us. It's been a pretty poor game. Hold the front door. Tottenham have just scored before half-time. I didn't spot that. João Pedro with a penalty. Stay like this. The title's ours. There's no way Leeds are coming back if we score a third goal. Bozdogan, edge of the area. He loves a pile driver. He loves a long distance shot, and he scored it there. I mean, surely they're not going to score 4 goals in 30. Oh, gee, they are okay. They're getting pretty close, aren't they? And they have actually found the. Okay, don't speak too soon, Tom. And of course, it could all still change here in the Tottenham Man City game. City could pull back a 90th minute equaliser, and we have to play Liverpool on the final day and beat them. 5 minutes of added time. We just need to hold on. The full-time whistle has been blown, and we have done it. We've won the Premier League title by only signing free agents. What an incredible achievement. But this is going to be one of the last times that I win the Premier League in FM24, because Football Manager 26 is right around the corner. This is what the new user interface looks like, and it is totally different. If you want to see a full breakdown of this and my other thoughts on FM26, click this video on screen where we go through the new user interface and a lot of the new options and things coming to the game. It's quite in-depth, it's quite exciting, and it's got me pretty hyped for the new game. So have a look at that video on screen right now.